I'm Brett Richardson from the University of Incarnate Word, and this is the Virtual Band Room. During this time of quarantine, much of our teaching is online where we are seated or maybe standing, but not quite doing the conducting things that we normally do. We're working on a lot of our pedagogy and what we say verbally, but I think in some ways we might be letting what we do physically atrophy some. So we want to make sure that we're doing a little bit of a tune-up, checking in with ourselves, maybe recalibrating what our thoughts are on conducting, and trying to make sure that when we get back into the band hall, hopefully this fall, that we'll be good to go. One of the first things I do before I conduct in a rehearsal or with a region band or any type of performance is I make sure I stretch beforehand. And a few of the stretches I do involve taking my fingers and just kind of stretching out the hand, and that helps with legato that I have coming up. I will also do a cross body stretch where I'll extend my arm, come across, and stretch out these muscles here in the shoulder and in the biceps, alternating each one. And then I also like to take my hands, interlock the fingers from behind, and then stretch upwards to open up these chest muscles and then get the triceps stretched out so that when I go into conducting posture, all of the muscles that are typically used are in good shape for performance. Sometimes when I do clinics, I'll watch band directors as they're on the podium, and a lot of times they'll do one of these things where they have one foot placed in front of the other, either right or left. And what happens is when you have your body that way, it actually closes off one part of the body to the next. We want to make sure we stay shoulder width apart, be an H as they say. If your body was the shape of a letter, it'd be an H, not an A, and not an I. Or not Billy Bob band director, as I sometimes call it, where you have one foot in front of the other. You want to make sure that you have a nice squared stance. Now let's talk about grip. Grip is very important. The tension that we have in our hands sometimes can translate to the tension that comes through our student's air or student's embouchure. So the way we hold the baton actually is important. I know you probably learned it in conducting class many, many years ago and have developed your own techniques over time. But one thing we may want to do is just check our grip to make sure it's all good. So a couple of points to remember. When you hold the baton, make sure that it's cradled between the thumb and the pointer finger, your fulcrum like you would in percussion class, and then calmly wrap the fingers around the bottom. We also want to make sure that there's a nice thumb bend here so that when we're holding the baton, it looks like this. We want to try and avoid any type of visual noise in our hands by giving something that maybe looks like this, or something that looks like this, or something that looks like this, or something that doesn't look like this. Anything other than this can translate into visual noise for our students. Once we bring the hands up and we've developed a really great grip, one of the things we want to make sure is that we're very specific in our opening gestures with our ensembles. If our hands are up like this, but we have the left hand doing this, but this one's nice and full, we're telling conflicting information. We want to make sure that our left hand is very specific and that we don't just do a defined gesture that we've just done for years and years. Make sure that it's very specific. Is it supposed to be soft? Indicate as such. Is it supposed to be loud? Ask for more. Make sure that the hand is coming in between the eyes and the players so that they can see what you're showing them with the hand, but also with your eyes. Hopefully some of those tips helped as you recalibrate during this time of quarantine. Remember, if you have any questions about conducting, please do not hesitate to reach out. My email is below, barichar@uiwtx.edu. And again, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. I'd be happy to schedule a Zoom meeting to work with you individually if that's something you need. Remember, this is a tough time during quarantine. We're all going through this together. And remember that we're all just trying to do what's best for our students and best for each other. God bless, and thanks to the Virtual Band Room.